he didn't just win, he smoked these fools like a pack of cools, man. In track, he would outjump the pit, and in basketball, he would jump the tip. Talking about the greatest athlete I've ever known, after the intro. First things first, just to get this out of the way, I grew up in Grapevine, Texas, which is a suburb of Dallas in what is known as the DFW Metroplex. I was a high school graduate in the year 2000. That is when I graduated high school. So most of these events that I'm talking about happened my middle school kind of sort of years. That was going to be 1994 to about 1996, that kind of sort of 3-year span. And the topic of today's video, the greatest athlete I grew up with and have ever seen in my whole entire life, Mr. Byron Luster. That's right. Byron Luster was the kind of sort of kid, the kind of sort of athlete that everything came easy to him. He was super fast, could jump real high. The best football player on our team at all times. He scored all of our touchdowns. Really, all we did was give the ball to Byron. He went left, he went right up the middle. He plowed over people. He would completely make them miss. Spin moves, Mr. Byron Luster could do it all. With that being said, he didn't have that much blocking while he played football because your boy, Mr. AK, was on the line there and standing about 130 pounds. As you can see, I'm kind of sort of the leaner, trimmer kind of sort of person, so I wasn't much of a lead blocker there for Mr. Byron here playing at the center position, so he didn't get much help from the offensive line is what I'm trying to get to tell you there. But everything did kind of sort of come easy to Byron. As I was saying, he was always the fastest and the strongest kid on the team. I remember in the 7th grade when they went to test everybody. They went to test all the kids, and one of the events was the bench press. Obviously, a good testament of strength is going to be the bench press. And needless to say, in the 7th grade, your boy AK, he maxed out at 85 pounds at 1 rep. What can you say? But Mr. Byron Luster, he was going to be in the 7th grade, so what? He was probably weighing between 120, 130 pounds himself. Repped out 165 pounds 3 times. 3 reps at 165. To this day, I go to the gym all the time, and there are many guys that still can't rep out 165 3 times. He didn't never max out. I don't really know why. I just think they didn't want to really push him any much further because really what's the point? We all know that he was the best athlete on the team. We all knew that he was the strongest and the fastest athlete on that team. So probably what the deal was, the coaches really didn't want to push him any further. With that being said, there's going to be 2 main feats of athleticism that I've seen in my whole entire life that just completely blew me away, that is always to this day stuck in my mind. One of them is going to be by Mr. Byron Luster, which is going to be the main reason of the topic of this video, and the other one is going to be a very famous track scene that we all kind of sort of know. Anyone who follows the sports world has seen my number 2. But before we get into that, let's talk about Byron's other feats of athleticism, other kind of sort of myths and legends, let's say, which are true because I was there. So one of the things, besides the 7th grade strength test in the 7th grade, repping out 165 pounds 3 times at 120 weight, 30-pound body weight, is going to be football. Like I said earlier, all we did was hand the ball off to Byron. He scored pretty much all of our touchdowns. We weren't the most intimidating team. Like I kind of sort of said earlier, your boy here was in the offensive line, and we weren't really the team that would scare other teams, other schools, whenever we rolled off the bus. We were kind of sort of the smaller team, and in middle school, we did throw the ball a lot. Other than that, we just kind of sort of handed the ball off to Byron and watched him run. So secondly, this is going to be really impressive. So the summer from 7th grade going into 8th grade, so that period of time, the summer from 7th grade to 8th grade, Byron Luster, he was in some sort of track. He was in a track and field event that was held at Grapevine High School, and he was jumping at the pit that was out in front of our locker room stadium. Not going to be the big pit that's going to be inside the stadium. It was going to be the smaller pit that was right out front. It's going to be a 20-foot pit is what I'm saying. And so in this track meet, Byron Luster out-jumped the pit. So the pit was 20 feet. Byron jumped 21 feet, and he landed in the grass. So what do they have to do during that competition? What do they have to do is they made Byron jump 6 feet back. So Byron's line was 6 feet further back than everyone else's line just so he could land in the pit. So if you can imagine what was going through the other athletes' minds whenever they were in this quote-unquote competition, which there was no competition because the other man was jumping outside the pit and you can't. But can you imagine what was going through their minds as Byron had to jump 6 feet before you were and you were in the same competition he was? So obviously Byron took first place in that, so that's going to be one of the mythological legends that true that Byron did. One of the second thing he did is he played basketball, he played other sports, and of course I played every other sport. I was a post player on that team, and your boy AK didn't have that great of a vert. With that being said, 8th grade, I was probably about 6'1", and I was a post player, and Byron was our point guard. Byron wasn't the tallest of person. He was probably around 5'6"ish, 5'7" maybe. I think Byron probably ended up right about 5'10". Could be wrong, whatever, not that big a deal. With that being said, he was our point guard. And as I mentioned earlier, Byron jumped the tip. So it was a bit of a scene out there to watch him jump the tip against other post players from other teams. And some of those guys, they were 6'5", they were 6'6", they were already mashing it home. And there's Byron, who's about 10 inches, 12 inches shorter than everybody else, and he's out there jumping the tip for us. Jumping the tip for the ponies in 8th grade. It was a bit embarrassing, but then with that being said, he was our best person to jump the tip.
Daddy, can I make a blueberry milkshake?
Sorry about that, folks. Had a case of Kittis interruptus. I had to make a blueberry milkshake. Which leads me to where my next topic and my last and final point is going to be track and field. And that's where Byron really shined, is going to be on the track. From what I remember is in the UIL 7th, 8th, and 8th grade, whatever it was, you could really only compete in 5 events. So of course Byron ran the 400 meter, he ran the 100 meter, he did the high jump, he did the long jump, and he also did the 4x4 the 4x4 relay, that ended all track and field events, the last big event, the mile relay, the 4x4. And of those events, Byron's bread and butter, without a doubt, is going to be the 400 meter dash. Byron would run the 100, he would win some events, he would take home some titles, he would get him some blue ribbons every once in a while, but also sometimes Luster, he would take an L in the 100. With that being said, in the 400 meters, Byron always won. Never saw Byron lose in the 400. Byron won every single 400 meter race I ever saw him enter, period. With that being said, you win every single time you go to district. You go to district, you get that blue ribbon, you get first place, you beat all those other contestants back in the day. I don't know what it's called today, but then if you do that, if you get first place in district, you go to what is called the Meet of Champions. And that is the best of the best, the creme de la creme of the athletes in the track and field area. So once Byron won district and he got to go to the track and field best of the best tournament, he got to go to the Meet of Champions, right? And this is where the catalyst of today's video happened. This is where what is embedded in my mind, which gives me goosebumps every single time I think about it, the most amazing athletic event I've ever seen in my life. The second one is going to be Mr. Usain Bolt, whenever he broke the 100-meter record for the first time. I believe it was his first time breaking it, whenever he did so famously, did the side-by-side kind of sort of pirouette, the kind of sort of long pose. But number one, by far, is going to be Byron Luster winning the 400-meter dash in the Meet of Champions. And he didn't just win, he smoked these fools like a pack of cools, man. I am telling you, that gun went off, and boy, Byron was gone, boy. He was gone. He was smoking these fools. Bites a 400-meter dash. So here he is in that first 100, right? He's smoking these guys. He's coming around that first corner, and he is way ahead. These other guys are turtles compared to Byron. This is the best, creme de la creme, and Byron is whooping him. He is beating the brakes off of him. Coming down the first backstretch now. We're about 200 to 250 meters into it. We're almost to, with the topic of today's video, we're almost to the climax point, right? Byron's coming around. He's coming to that corner. He's coming to that corner. He knows he's running fast. He has not seen a man since the race started, right? I have no idea what's going through his mind. I have no idea whatsoever, right? He's coming around, and I'm watching it. There's no one else that's around him. My best friend, Michael Chase McBride, is to my left. Witness the event. Witness this with me. Byron is smoking these fools. He starts taking these slow steps. What's he doing? He's slowing down. What's he doing? Byron's slowing down. Looks over his left shoulder. Takes 1, 2, 3 kind of sort of last slow gallops. And then he stops on the track. Feet quit moving. Byron stops on the track, looks over, notices that he is absolutely obliterating the rest of the field, making them all look fool. We have no idea what's going on. This is absolute craziness. And then eventually he just decides to gun. It's a very quick pause. He was there, but since he was there, it seemed like forever. Byron's like, oh crap, starts taking off, finishes around that corner, goes down the back stretch, and wins by 30 meters anyways. So that's the thing. Byron would always win, like I said. Byron always won the 400. He always won. But it was always like a respectable win, right? Byron would win by 10, 12, 14 feet, 6 feet, 8, 10 feet, something like that, right? That's a good victory, right? But that's a respectable victory. He smoked these fools. It was embarrassing. It was awesome and amazing to see him in the same jersey I was wearing. The GMS Pony red with the white stripe going off the head. The G, the M, and the S right in the middle. It was amazing. So I caught up with Byron afterwards, right? I caught up with Byron. I said, Byron, what was going through your mind? What were you doing? Byron's panting. I was scared they're going to catch me, so I sprinted the whole way. And that's it. That's the story of Byron Luster, the greatest athlete I've ever seen, the most amazing sporting event period embedded in my mind that has to do anything athletically. The most amazing athletic event I've ever seen in my whole entire life. Please comment down below. Let me know what you think about my story. It's all true. I'm going to go to what's it called? Facebook. I'm going to hit up my boy Byron. I'm going to let him know. I'm going to give him this video. I'm going to hit up my boy Michael Chase McBride. There's a couple other people that would know this story that were there. Hopefully someone, if you know what I'm talking about, please comment down below if anybody remembers this. With that being said, I want you to let me know who your greatest athlete growing up was, right? Who was your stud linebacker? Who was the running back that you just used to hand the ball off to and he'd score a touchdown, take it 99 yards, juke everybody else out? Or if you had your point guard jump the tip like I did, let me know. Also, I do make college videos almost every single day, about 3-4 times a week, mainly talking about the Longhorns, maybe talking about the college football Longhorns. Please give me a like. Please give me a subscription, guys. I very much appreciate the support. With that being said, also give me that feedback. Let me know who that particular athlete was. Appreciate it. With that being said, y'all guys have a great afternoon. Appreciate you watching.